Ted Cutler, well-known philanthropist in Boston,
An
an
entrepreneur,
entrepreneur, and
musician.
all those things.
Right. So Ted, welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Ted, for those who don't know you, and I think that would be hard to believe for people in Boston, could you just give a little bit of your background?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I pride myself with being a Dorchester boy, because Dorchester has spawned so many really wonderful guys, and we had a great growing up in Dorchester. Learned an awful lot about life and people and things like that, and it's just great to see the success that so many of my friends who that came from Dorchester and whose fathers never made $100 a week in their life became very successful, and there's just something about it. And, I love it. I love the city. The city's been good to me. I try to be good to the city also, but I love growing up in Boston. Boston's a fantastic city, really fantastic city. We have the best colleges, the best schools. We have the best health care and the best hospitals, and certainly to be life sciences, as I say, in the future. And there's something here for everybody. What we didn't have here, and what we haven't had here, is enough of the performing arts. And I think our city's just about ready to start exploding and bring more performing arts here, especially in the summertime,
Right.
when the weather is great and everything's going great. So that's my story. I was lucky, and I've had a great life, and I'm willing to share that with everybody.
Well, you were lucky enough to do well, and I think everyone knows that the Cutler Majestic Theater, the name Cutler is your name, and it'd be sort of interesting to learn how that came about and what that has spawned.
And also, just to make sure we have enough time, I want to focus in on your most current project, which is the festival that you brought to Boston. And I mean, a lot of cities do have arts festivals in the summer, and you're right. And Boston really didn't. It was sort of an empty city. I always think of Boston as a city that cleared out during the summer. Everybody's going to the Cape, or they're going to Maine.
They're the biggest lie in the world. It's the tip of the iceberg that leaves the city. Everybody else is here looking around for something to do and to enjoy themselves. And they're the best audience that you can possibly have. So it's time for us to look into it. It's time for us to change the culture of what we listen to. For the price of a movie ticket, you can go and listen to some of the best music in the city, the best art in the city, see a theater, go to a play, outdoors. We have tents and things like that. I want to bring all of that into Boston. We have some of the most beautiful theaters in the country here in Boston, and we should be using them in the summertime.
So why don't you explain to our listeners, sort of the whole evolution of the festival and what it is?
Okay, I'm an art nut. I mean, performing art nut. I grew up with a music background. I wound up going to Emerson College, which is probably one of the greatest schools in the country today. Came back to Emerson College in 1995 and met the president, fell in love with her. She was wonderful. She was aggressive and dynamic, and before I knew it, I was on the board and then chairman of the board of Emerson College, which I think is probably one of the best schools in the country, and amidst growing schools in the country. And it was me. It was my person. It was my DNA. It just fed into my lifestyle, what I liked, what I enjoyed. And if I could enjoy it that much, I wanted everybody else to enjoy it. And so that it's been a great life, and this has been a great part of my life.
So when I think of you, I do think of entrepreneur, but I do think of the arts, because I know people who grew up with you in Dorchester, and when I mention your name to them, they always mention music.
But it wasn't just music. Emerson was I went to Emerson because I wanted to be in radio, as a matter of fact. I played drums at the opening of WERS. I mean, so I went to Emerson at the time when we started WERS.
That's a favorite station of mine.
Yeah, it still is a favorite.
I love it. I love the station.
And the funny part about it is that I had an affection in my voice. I talked like Barbara Wawa. And Emerson College fixed that for me. But I was too late to go on the radio, and went on to do a lot of other things in my lifetime that I was very fortunate. Wound up in Las Vegas and being part of a wonderful trade show, the biggest and most successful trade show of that time, Condex, with great partners, and all of us coming from the same area, all of us thinking alike, and it just has been a lucky and a wonderful life.
Well, again, going back to the festival.